Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. Delighted to be speaking to you. I am chomping at the bit. We said there'd be fireworks, and we weren't disappointed. So where do you want to start tonight?
Well, Dave, it was for me, and I know it's fucking stupid, it's pathetic, they're all fake romances. Oh, it's the best episode of the series. I was gripped. Usually I am lagging, you know, I'm up so early for work. Didn't miss a fucking beat of this, Dave. Even watched all the adverts. The Callum and Molly situation with Shauna, I knew them bastards were going to drag this out. And I sat there and I said to Sam, we're not going to see him come down. We're going to see a silhouette of Callum and it's going to go off. Well, we did see it. But fuck me, Dave. Shauna is going to rip his cock off tomorrow. I'm telling you. Oh, my word.
Absolutely. I think if we're keeping with the music theme, I think the theme for tomorrow night is going to be She Bangs the Plums. So I think, you know, we didn't get to see her tomorrow night, did we? And
No.
I was the same as you. So I was we were texting back and forth, weren't we? And I was thinking to myself, you know, from about 9:30, I'm thinking, the bastards, they're not going to show this. They're just going to leave it. And then it's going to be, you know, is he going to turn up with Molly? Is he not? I mean, I guess, you know, we probably knew that. There was only really Naz, I think, that we weren't sure about. But I'm fucking sat there with my glass of wine, my Sensations Thai Sweet Chili Crisps. Fucking getting all anxious and stressed about Love Island. And I'm like, what has happened to me?
I'm sat in bed with Sam and she's like, you know, not she's into it and we're both, but I'm like, you know, the size of me to Sunday and I'm behind her going, oh my God, I can't, but she's looking at me like, is there something wrong with you? Just fucking leave me alone. I was so excited. It was like Father Chris. I was like, oh, it's going to happen. And she's like, what? She's just looking at me. You could clearly tell she was nowhere near as excited as me, Dave. But I'm thinking, oh, I can't wait to get on the podcast and talk about it. Oh, honestly, it's fucking pathetic. I'm ashamed of myself, but I fucking love it. The drama and the way the tension built through this episode was just nothing short of magnificent. I know there's plenty of people probably going, shut up, Chris, you dick. But I swear to God, this is what I live when I watch Love Island, Dave. This is what it's about for me. The fucking tension of the couples and just seeing some of the comments. Like, you know, the first one we got, I mean, you're looking at Callum and Shauna, Dave. I mean, we can't really speculate what's going to go on. I think they've done a clever thing. We're just going to have to wait till tomorrow to get the first look. And that is going to see if there's any fireworks. Because I think Shauna is going to go for him big time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this for me it's definitely peak Love Island, isn't it? I think it's on par with Michael and Amber last year. I think they're different characters, but you know, you've got Shauna. She's definitely the matriarch. I think she's stronger for everyone else around her than she is for herself. And you know, so it was really touching when obviously Naz walked in. Coupled up and Demi was getting a bit teary and then, you know, Shauna's saying, no, come on, straight face, keep strong. And so she does it for everyone else around her. But Jesus, when Callum walks down with Molly, and I have to say, Chris, Molly chose the one night to look the absolute hottest she's ever looked on this show, I think, just to twist the knife a little bit. But, you know, and Callum's sort of stood there like a little schoolboy, isn't he, about to get told off. Oh, I tell you, tomorrow it is going off.
It's going off. And I think as well, what was interesting was through the episode, I mean, Dave, you know, I know we take the piss and the whole thing is about two friends sat together having a chat. But the way some of them things, I mean, I was there sat there lumping the throat, Dave. I mean, fucking Shanice or Sonia, she's being called online by plenty of people. I have no race in her at all. I have no interest in her. Got me, Dave. As soon as she started crying, and I was like, what the fuck is the matter with you, Chris? You know what I mean? I've slated that girl. And I felt so happy for her because it was genuinely tears. Because, Dave, you're getting embarrassed on national TV. If the lad walks out with a new girl, you're getting it ripped out here, aren't you, really, in some respects? You know what I mean? And so to probably have that on her social media from horrible trolls. And I think I bought it, Dave. I did buy it. And even Luke T was like, thank fuck for that. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
he was happy that he come down. But Dave, the shock before we even got to the Callum bit, Naz, just in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that, for me, poor Demi was giving it the big and wants. She's a great guy, makes me laugh. She's got a really infectious smile and everything. And I'm like, surely he's not going to. And when I saw the silhouette of two people, I was like, oh my God. I had my hands, I honestly had my hands over my eyes. They looking. I was like, oh my God, no, the poor girl. And she held it together well. And Naz's explanation was okay. But in the same respect, I still thinking, oh, that poor girl. I mean, how did you feel on that, Dave?
I think Naz has dropped the ball there. I don't honestly see that Eva's that into him. And I think, again, we question all the time, don't we? Who's in there to play the game, try and win the money? Who's in there to actually find someone? If he's playing the game, he's just fucked it. Because, I mean, I have to say, I wasn't that confident that Demi wouldn't recouple. She seemed to, at certain moments over the last few days, I thought she might waver a bit, but she's ended up, she chose to stay single, and then Naz walks in there, and like I say, it's crushing, isn't it? To just watch someone get that upset about it. I mean, it was horrible, but I think the public have kind of been behind Naz. Again, it all goes back to that first couple of weeks when he wasn't particularly lucky and everyone's thinking, oh, this is Anton. But he's kind of been Anton without the one-liners kind of thing. And I just think now people are going to turn on him. Or they're not going to turn on him, but they won't vote for him, when it comes to the public vote.
No, they won't. But I think as well, one thing I would say, Dave, which is quite interesting, and obviously, Sam, from a lady's point of view, and we've had plenty of emails, and we've got plenty to talk about today with the emails, some great emails for later on, is she wasn't that sympathetic to Shauna, Sam. She said it's the name of the game. Shauna's being quite domineering to him and not letting him speak and stuff. And I think out of everyone, maybe Shauna will be the one who might get the least amount of sort of sympathy. She's going to get it from obviously the Islanders and her friends, because like I say, when Naz walked out, fucking Paige was like, oh my God, so when it happened to Shauna, like, what the fuck? And we've had plenty of response from people saying, like, at the end of the day, it's the name of the game. Shauna's been really controlling. Look at the difference in Callum. He's been affectionate towards Molly, isn't he? So it was as if, as I said to you, Dave, I think he was playing a game. Whatever we think, I'd still think he was either too scared of her or what his public perception is going to be. And this is a girl who he thinks he may have a life with. And obviously she lives in, God's greatest city, Manchester. So obviously he's going to try and make that relationship work, sadly.
I think the thing with Shauna is, so everyone, if you stand back from it far enough and you look at it coldly and clinically, it's not going to work. And actually, what's going around in her head, it's what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. She's built up Callum to be this picture of a man that he actually isn't. And so I think there aren't going to be many people who are like, you know what, Shauna and Callum, they're so suited. They're so, they look so good together and they get on like a house on fire. But she's built this thing up in her head. It's like Amy last year, I think. Amy, she did a lot of things which weren't very nice, to be honest. So, but it's still heartbreaking to just see another human being kind of go through that emotional kick in the gut. And she said, what was it she said? She said something about, does she expect that Callum's recoupled? I think she said no, but come on, Shauna. Really, I think deep down, you weren't suited. He was just the best kind of fit that you thought you had a connection with in there, but they weren't a good fit. But Christ, that all of that goes out the window now, because he's the one who's kind of broken that trust, and so she's gonna fucking launch him over the villa walls, I think.
Hey, Dave, I tell you what was funny. It was fucking, Mike coming with Priscilla. And that's, I think, where we got the first page, like, oh my God, and he'd obviously chose. And what was interesting was Jess had no choice but to couple up with someone. And I was quite surprised she went with Ched because she was saying about Biggsy once. Like, he's a great lad. He's a lovely personality. She wasn't sure on Biggsy. And when she was wording up who she was going to go with, I said to Sam, I think she ought to pick Biggsy because everything she said was the opposite of what she'd been saying about Ched. But when Mike come in and he sat there. Mike, for some reason, look, I mean, he's probably quite a fit, big-looking lad. He's like a little fucking kid. When Ched was saying, he looks over at Ched when they got coupled up and sort of nodded at me to say, I ain't having any of your fucking smoke, pal. You know what I mean? He's fucking massive, Ched. And Ched said the right things, I thought.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he's played a blinder. I do think I thought she might go for Biggs, but you know, it looks like brawn over over brains this time. But I tell you what, I thought Jess got let off the hook a little bit because they let Mike walk in, coupled up. Now, Jess was in a friendship couple with Naz, but obviously there was the whole thing before Casa Amor, Mike saying, you know, yeah, if she left, she'd walk out. So we never got to see her actually have to make a decision. And the order of it now, the girls are not going to forget this with Mike.
No.
I don't think any of them will forgive him now. Despite the fact, I think Jess would have gone with Ched anyway, but we'll never know because of the order that they came out. But I tell you what, Chris, I thought I was getting wound up because I couldn't believe, you know, Jess was coupled up with Luke M. And I couldn't believe she was giving Mike a chance, and they had that snog because we could all see it. We were calling it out at the time, weren't we? Mike is just, you know, like running around trying to couple up with someone, and then planting all his cards on the table, saying he's going to walk out the villa and stuff. But I thought the speech that Jess gave, I can't believe that was all just completely made up because it was the perfect put down. And I think I've never seen such a brilliant put down. I mean, women are naturally, I think, better than this. I mean, especially like as northern blokes, we're crap at it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like being subtle and what have you. But I had to write it down because it is just so good. Because when Mike walked in with Priscilla, you know, Jess was asked, you know, how she feels like, and she says, I felt like Mike was untrustworthy, and obviously this confirms it. So it's cool with me. I would like to recouple. And this is where she goes into the everything I say is building up Ched, but it's putting down Mike. And then she says, ever since this boy came into the villa, he's shown interest in one girl and one girl only. He's been honest, straight up, and so confident, I just feel like I can trust him. I never need to question whether he's genuine, whereas I have in previous situations. When we're together, I feel like there's a natural connection. He's funny, and I can see us together in the outside world. I just think if she has done that completely off the cuff, that is the best speech, recoupling speech I think I've seen. I know I've not seen all the previous seasons that you have, but I was just like, I was almost like off my chair, giving her a round of applause for that because I just thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. And I think what was interesting, Dave, is I've mentioned about Shanice and Luke T, and then we get on to Paige and Finlay. And
are you convinced by Shanice and Luke T? I mean, it was really touching. You know, again, if someone breaks down like that, it pulls on the heartstrings, doesn't it? But I think I said from day one in Casa Amor, Luke T is not going to couple with anyone because no one's interested.
Yeah, and acknowledge that.
Yeah, that might be a harsh way of looking at it, but I'm just not that convinced that they'll stand up to a real test.
No, Dave, they might not. I think for the purpose of the episode and my, love of what was going on, I agree. I don't see anything between them, but it was just a touching moment. And then fucking Paige and Finlay, Dave, brought the house down for me. I was thinking, well, this is the highest it's going to get, Shauna, because it's going to be fucking low in a minute. And Shauna was genuinely pleased and clapping her hands and like smiling. And then Paige didn't know what to do because obviously been shit on by, ex-boyfriends and stuff. And Finlay came in, and I saw someone online saying, wait till she finds out that he was egging Callum on. It's like, fuck off. You find anything wrong with stuff like that. I thought he slept outside Cheedy. When she said, I've been sleeping out, he went, so have I. That was it, Dave. They are, I think, from what I was looking at the odds, they're the new favourites to win it now.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I mean, I must admit, I was sort of, again, sat there with my glass of wine, holding back the tears, Chris. I was genuinely getting choked up, and I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. But no, the way he came out and he's like, oh, thank fuck for that. And she's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's like, they're just made for each other. And I just hope this stupid thing about her being 2 fucking years older than him just can be put to bed now. Hats off to Finn. I can't really fault anything that he's done in there. Egging on Callum. Fucking hell, you didn't have to egg on Callum. There's no egging on required there. His eyes were popping out as soon as Molly walked into Casa Amor. So
exactly.
No, I think he played a blinder there, Finn. And I don't know who knows who's going to win it, but certainly this is my favourite couple in the villa right now.
I'm with you, Dave. I'm totally with you on that.
Now, Chris, a couple of couples that I don't know how I feel about yet. I haven't seen enough. So we've got Luke M and Natalia. Luke M is kind of a different gooey kind of Luke M, isn't he, around Natalia? He clearly fancies the pants off her. I'm not sure about the jeans and PVC combo, by the way.
He was loving that, wasn't he? He was loving it.
I think he was, yeah. He was getting a bit hot under the collar there. I just don't see it reciprocated much from Natalia. And he was really putting out all the stops to try and maneuver himself for that kiss, but he was just getting no inviting signs at all. So, you're a little bit suspicious, or I'm a little bit suspicious. The people in Casa Amor want to get in the villa. So do they find a connection, or do they just couple up with someone to get in the villa and then they'll find a connection when they get in the villa? I'm not convinced Natalia's got any attraction to Luke M at all right now from what we've seen. What do you reckon?
I think you're right, Dave. I think Luke M, sweet lad, sweet guy, a bit like Finlay, I suppose. So the dynamic of Love Island, you need an absolute bastard, basically, for characters. And he isn't that. He seems quite a straight-up, genuine guy. Whether he gets tempted down the line, I'm not sure. Everyone seemed genuinely happy that he'd found somebody. So I'm happy to sort of draw a line under him and say, right, well, move on and let's see how we go. If you flip it, Dave, Rebecca and Jordan couldn't give 2 flying fucks, to be honest. I don't like Rebecca. I really have turned off her completely. I don't know what it is about her, but she's just got this weird self-entitlement about her, which I just do not like. Jordan seems like a lovely lad. He's not really done much. We haven't seen much of his personality, really. Don't really care. They're not going to win it one way or the other, Dave. Not at all.
No, I don't think so. And I agree on Rebecca. When she came in, I thought she might be a bit of a Mora. She speaks her mind and, she comes out with some funny one-liners. But she's not really that funny, and she's not that. I don't know. There's something about her that I don't warm to her at all either. And like you say, we've not really seen Jordan say much at all apart from when he's with Rebecca. So we'll see. But I think that goes into the don't really care bucket for right now.
It doesn't. One last thing, Dave, before we get into our emails. I love the fact that you've got them non-fucking Islanders that, and he even said it, Ian Sterling, about the blonde. There's the blonde girl at the Casa Amor. Can't think of her name. Not seen anything of her. And then we had, I think it was Alexi and the other lad, the estate agent. They're just stood at the end like they were extras, or they were part of a fucking, like a identity parade, like which one's the murderer. They just stood there like, as I say, Dave, a pair of spare pricks at a wedding day. They were genuinely just there like, what are you two doing? It's like you've stumbled into the wrong fucking ID parade. They're all gone.
Was it that Alexi, who he was wearing like a matching kind of shorts and t-shirt combo and shouting out the Twister infections?
Yeah.
I was like, are you trying to get your red coat or something for Butlins? What's the deal there? I mean, everyone seems to be, that they're all wearing the height of fashion, but yeah, I thought he stood out. He just looked like like say a red coat from Butlins or something.
A cock, Dave. You look like a cock.
I was trying not to say he looked like a bellend.
This is coming from me, who shops at Primani, Dave. But anyway, let's just move quickly on. Mr. Hypocrite here. But anyway, Let's read out these emails because we've got 4 absolute belters, haven't we, Dave? In fact, we've got 5 belters. So
yeah, maths isn't your strong point, is it?
No, it's not, Dave. Anyway, this one's from our good friend Jenny again, and it's again Casa Amor is the title. Hi guys, I'll try and keep my thoughts more concise this time. Last night's episode didn't really tell us much more than we already knew from the previous, but this is shaping up to be the juiciest Casa Amor we've ever seen. Paige and Finn looking the strongest as Finn has actually been tested, and Luke T, as you said, has not. Also, let's be real, Luke and Shanice are way less entertaining. At least Paige and Finn have passable banter. Priscilla is so stunning and actually seems cool. Way too good for Mike. He's just boring to watch. Put the same OTT moves on every girl. Totally agree. Luke M is getting cuter by the day. In my last email, I said I thought he and Jess were both as thick as each other, but maybe I underestimated her. I was so wrong. She's incredibly vapid, even for this show. How did she ever pick up what Mike put down or think she could catch a jelly bean in her mouth without the eyelashes getting in the way? Less if I said that.
Oh my God, how bad was that?
That was terrible, wasn't it? It's terrible, the poor girl. And she, bless her, but Luke has impressed me the last few days. He gave Jess what for when she messed him around, and now he's been really sweet with Nat. Still dull as fuck, but sweet. Let's not forget that he was more attracted to Molly, though. Naz has every right to explore his options, and Evie's very pretty. I do think Demi is more fun, but it's his choice, and at least he's trying to be respectful and consider everyone's feelings. Throwing Callum's behaviour into sharp relief, it shows just so hard to watch. I can just see now how little he ever liked Shauna and was just going along with an easy life. I see him actually getting nervous around Molly and trying to compliment her. We thought he was too thick to be capable of thoughtfulness, but it turns out he just can't be arsed being nice to girls he doesn't like he's punching for. He was never good enough for Shauna. He still hasn't figured out that there's a difference between erection and connection. And the worst part to watch is Shauna predicting all of this and still thinking about how she wants to be official. I don't think she'll be able to stay in the villa while Callum and Molly crack on, but I hope she proves me wrong. Still loving the pod. Keep up the good work, Jenny. Great email, Dave. Fantastic email.
There is a lot to unpack there, isn't there? I mean... I said to you, I think it was yesterday, Naz went about it in a very respectful way. You know, he didn't kiss either. Callum, first chance he gets, he's straight in there. so you could, as the viewers, were thinking like, well, Naz has at least, you know, been respectful to Demi. But of Demi and Shauna, will either of them give a shit about that? Because right now, what we've seen is just the walking down the steps, you know, Naz coupled up, Callum coupled up. Does anyone give a shit? Or even if, you know, Demi's getting upset and Naz says, well, look, we didn't kiss. And it's like, what shred of comfort is that? It's a genuine question. I just don't know. Because I feel like Naz did the right thing. But ultimately, will the girls care?
I don't think it's going to make any difference, Dave. They are going to go for him big time. It's going to ruin his good guy image and the support. He's going to lose a little bit. You can turn it around pretty quick in the villa, to be fair, as different people leave and get voted off. Let's see how that plays out. I do sort of think it's going to be a belting episode tomorrow. Now, Dave, one of the other emails we've had.
Sorry. You heard it here first, kids. Chris says, just go ahead and cheat, and because ultimately it's not going to matter in the end.
Somebody who's been married for 20 years happily, Dave, and not been on that side of things. Maybe you should keep your mouth shut. But anyway, we've had another email from our good friend Denise, and she simply said, holy shit, that was barn burner cliffhanger. For a brief second, I thought, Callum wouldn't have the balls to bring Molly back. But honestly, he had more personality in Casa Amor. I support his decision. I actually don't think the catty side comment reactions by the original Villa girls directed towards the new girls. It's too tribal and petty. Why is Naz the Villa enemy for not deciding to stay with Demi? They only knew each other for 2 days. Great point. And P.S. I can't believe that annoying Shanice with her nails on a chalkboard voice and Forrest Gump Luke T could win this show. Can't watch Love Island without your podcast, Love Denise.
I can't see Shanice and Luke T working at all. I don't know. I think I'd like to see him put up to a test, you know, testing them both a proper one. But no, I think there's other couples, like say Finn and Paige got to be the favourites for me.
Yeah. I'm with you, Dave. And Dave, I've got to say, Kayla again has produced another email. She is keeping intact that she's the one with the most emails that we're receiving. But I think she could be our spirit animal, to be honest, Dave, because the title of her email is very much in keeping the way I talk. Yeah, well, I've dragged you into my explicit podcasting, Dave, as well. No preview for tomorrow night. Fuck off. So anyway, he says, all right, Naz has fucked his chance to win now. Even if he got back with Demi, a lot of the audience loves Demi now, and he's fucked it. Mike is just trash, and the best thing he's done is bringing in Priscilla, who I predict now will be the female Ovi for the audience. No drama, very funny. Came in later and coupled with someone the audience didn't care about. Molly wore the smallest outfit possible to really show off why Callum picked her, like you said, Dave. The only reason he picked her is because he finds her more attractive. Personality-wise, Molly is very similar to Shauna. They push him to do things before he's ready, but he thinks Molly is cute when she does it. I'm predicting that Naz and Eva, Jess and Ched, Callum and Molly won't last more than a week if the new Islanders come in. Got to keep up my title of most emails, Kayla. Can't argue with that, Dave.
Awesome. And I think, yeah, sort of incomplete agreement there. I kind of forgot, though, how late Ovi... I forgot that Ovi came in as part of the whole Casa Amor thing. So in my mind, I'm sort of thinking that Casa Amor, it's all sort of downhill from here. But there's still quite a while to go, really, isn't there? And yeah, I guess the new Casa Amor flock could, win our hearts over, I guess.
Yeah, and in the UK, I saw Ovi last week. He's like a basketball aficionado now on Sky Sports, Dave. He's in the studio on Sky Sports News a lot, doing a lot of things on there with him. So he's done well for himself, the lad. And he was the nicest lad there last year. He's a fucking legend, him and his cricket bat. Anyway, Dave, what's the next email we've got, Dave?
It is from Melanie Brown, and it says, Men Are Trash, Part 4. Which I can't really argue with. Hey guys, Lauren again here from the US. Aside from the total cheap move of ending on a cliffhanger, but with so many conflicting feelings on the Callum and Shauna switch. Although I saw it coming, Callum truly wasn't happy with Shauna, and realistically it sucks, but better to know that you both aren't fitting together. I definitely feel Curtis and Amy vibes from last season. I don't see her staying in the villa with Callum and Molly now coupled up. But the drama is coming. It certainly is. And whoa, the whole thing with Naz is so crazy. He barely connected with, and he dumps Demi. Demi could be totally chosen by one of the guys in the house. Mike. I mean, he's told the same thing to 3 or 4 women in the house. Such a smooth talker. Now, this Priscilla girl is a wife? Massive eye roll. Natalia kind of pumped the brakes on Luke M. Kind of weird. Not sure what's going to happen there. It's basically all about the next episode because things are definitely going to kick off. Big fan as always, Lauren. That's awesome.
Brilliant.
And yeah, I forgot about that. Mike sort of saying Priscilla's wife material. I mean, I said he'd played all his cards with Jess. There's nothing he can play more than that. But saying she's wife material, I mean, he just steps it up another notch, doesn't he?
He's a fucking bellend, isn't he, Dave? He's fucking Jess. 2 days earlier, I'm going to leave with her. Oh, I'll leave. You go, I'll go. And we called it out. He's brilliant. He doesn't care. He's absolutely amazing.
I tell you what, before we go on to the next email, I think, if it comes down to an Islander vote, Mike's fucked. He's just fucked. He just won't. No one will forgive him for this. It's just a bridge too far. They're just going to jettison him out the villa with a footprint on his arse.
Yeah, big time. Now, Dave, just before I read the last email out, and it's from our good friend Karen again, I just want to thank some of our sort of supporters on Twitter who have been with us from the start. So we've got the lovely Rufy B, Agnes, and obviously Ed from Brent Love Isle, the great people who've just supported us all the time through the podcast, haven't they, Dave? So, and all the new people who sending in emails like Kayla and that, really, really appreciate it. So just a big thanks. Me and Dave just see that as 2 mates talking shit, and we hope you enjoy what we're doing and everyone gets involved and we all have a chat about it. And that's exactly what the podcast is about. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome. And again, the new guys who've joined us as well, Kayla emailing in her thoughts every day. It's just fantastic. Karen, Melanie, Denise, Jenny, all absolutely brilliant. And it's so humbling, Chris. But I'll tell you what isn't humbling. Being told you kind of sound like you're about 50.
Well, you're closer to it than me, Dave.
I am. I've got a fucking bone to pick with you, though, because I don't know if listeners are aware that you're even doing this, but you subtly drop these breadcrumbs. You're always like, even from last year on our various podcasts, you're like, oh, yeah, well, I'm 40, Dave, but you're much older, aren't you? So, and it is my curse. I will always be 2 years older than you.
Look, there's only 2 years between us. I'm 41 and you're 47, Dave. It doesn't matter. He said maths wasn't my subject.
It's like Paige and Finn, isn't it? 2 years, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, but let's be honest. We put a picture of both of us up on Twitter. So if you get over there, guys, at Love Island Cast, you can see me and Dave from a wedding we went to. One of our ex-bandmates last, was it October, Dave? I think it was. And Dave might be 2 years older, but he still looks younger than me anyway. So I'll give you that, Dave. I will give you that. Just to balance it out.
Still got one in the pocket, but I've got a little video of us at the table, and I think it's fair to say I'd probably had a little bit more to drink than you at that point.
What do you mean a little bit more? I was fucking driving. I was stone cold sober, Dave.
I look back at this video and it's like you're trying to tell me something serious and I'm just sort of boogieing away to the music. So it's like, yep, whatever.
Yeah, fuck you, Chris, you boring fucker. Where's my next drink?
No, it's absolutely brilliant. And Chris, what an absolutely fantastic bunch of Love Island casters we actually have as well. I can't say the word humbling too much. It's just when we started this off, it was kind of a half-arsed idea, wasn't it? I was supposed to come on every day and shit all over it because I hated it. And I've become the biggest bloody super fan of anyone. So, yeah, cheers for destroying my life. And... and constantly, reminding me that I'm getting closer every day to fucking 50.
Look, the thing is with the age thing, it's the breadcrumbs that because, you can be very clever with your dialogue sometimes, but there's been a few times when I have dropped it in there, and then later on, that fucking penny has dropped, Dave. And out of the two of us, you're probably a lot cleverer than me, but I'm just like, I've got the bastard.
Like Dr. Evil, my plan has all come together.
And big thanks to Ed, by the way, at Brent Loveisle on Twitter. I think he's trying to compliment you, Dave, but he said you don't sound like you're 50.
I love you, Ed, man, but I don't know on what planet that is a compliment. So.
It's fucking brilliant. So,
hey, I tell you what, Ed got the old compliments as well, doesn't he? Looks a bit like Tom Hardy.
He does, actually, yeah, he does. I don't know who I look like, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what could we say for us, Dave? I mean, I have been known to be... No, I'm not even going to say it, Dave. Fuck that. Let's just move on.
No, come on. No. If you want to get over to our Roadhouse review on the VHS Strikes Back podcast, you'll hear how Chris proudly declares himself as looking like Patrick Swayze.
No, I do not declare it. People have said it about me in certain angles. I do not think I look like Patrick Swayze.
Certain angles in the dark. I don't know what I've got to talk about. I look like fucking Jimmy Cranky.
Right, let me read this last email, Dave. It's from Karen. It says, cliffhanger. Hi, guys. The cliffhanger on Love Island was almost as good as Gavin and Stacey's cliffhanger at Xmas Day. Got to agree with that. I did enjoy it, despite what people said. Thank goodness. Unlike Gavin and Stacey, I only have a few more hours to wait to find out what happens. Shauna was so brave but hopeful. Lovely to see her being so supportive to shock Demi. I do hope she walks after this and doesn't stay to watch Callum with Molly. I think Naz will regret his decision. Can't see Luke and Natalia working. Think she'll jump ship at the first opportunity. Well done to Paige and Shanice for managing to keep your men. Not sure how you did that. Jess, what does she see in Ched? Mike, she just got a sick emoji, Dave. Rebecca, who gives a shit? Only 12 hours to wait, guys, and she's right. Karen. So thank you, Karen, again. Absolutely, Dave. Brilliant. I know this is a longer than normal episode, guys, but we had so much to talk about. Absolutely mega, honestly.
I mean, what does Jess see in Ched? I mean, he is the fucking mountain, isn't he? He's massive. How tall do you reckon he is? Because I'm wondering if he is taller than Ovi, but Ovi was quite slight, whereas, Ched, he seems to have a bit of girth about him as well, Chris. What do you reckon?
Dave, what the fuck have you been checking up at online?
What about his broad shoulders, of course? I wonder if they're going to have a special reinforced bed brought into the villa for him.
You fucking set me up for failure here, Horrocks. Yes, so thanks for that, Dave, for... I don't know what to say. The cricket battle live on forever and a day when it comes to Love Island, always. But I think the thing is with them, aesthetically, what a great looking couple. He's a monster. She's tall, blonde. I think he's about 6'4", 6'5", Dave. I don't necessarily think he's absolutely huge. I know Callum, you'll know, because Callum said he's 6'2". He's about the same height as me. So I think Callum is the tallest lad in the villa. So when we see him next to Callum, you can sort of gauge how tall he is.
Yeah. I just know that when we first were introduced to Casa Amor, he just towered above everyone, didn't he?
Oh, he's huge.
And so I'm guessing he is north of 6'5".
It could be, Dave. We'll have a look. We'll have a look when we see it tomorrow night.
I cannot wait till he sits next to Mike. To big Uncle Mike, and he just gives him a bit of a pat on the head, like,
yeah, come here, son, let's have a chat. Yeah. So, guys,
he does that thing that your uncles do, where they ruffle your hair. They sort of get you in a headlock and ruffle your hair.
Mike will definitely not be. I mean, the thing is, what you find, Dave, is all the new guys, when they come in, they all get on. All the girls usually end up getting on. They might be a bit standoffish, and Molly might end up with Sean. They might end up bitching about Callum in a couple of days. You just don't know, do you?
I think it's going to take a few days, isn't it? There's definitely, I can't remember which email it was now, but it's definitely going to get a bit tribal. And so the new girls are going to be, not welcome that warmly, I don't think, especially with the Molly and Shauna thing. So they will end up getting on probably, a few recouplings and stuff, but the next few days are going to be pretty tense.
Oh, yeah, and great to watch, Dave. So, at Love Island Cast, guys, on Twitter. If you want to email us, the loveislandcast@gmail.com. And let's hope it all kicks off again, Dave, tomorrow. So thank you again, Dave. Brilliant emails from all our listeners. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye now.